hangover. I'm surprised that the Rams are that much off the pace. It seems like the teams that lose the Super Bowl fall off a cliff.
Yeah, well, last
And they're
year
8-7, about to be 9-7. They're not the worst Super Bowl loser that comes to mind.
No, they're not. But just think about it. The Eagles went back to the playoffs last year. The year before that, the Falcons went to the playoffs. The Seahawks went to the playoffs, because they were back-to-back champions. I can't remember who was the conference champion before them. The Panthers were the last team to fail to make the playoffs after going to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
But nobody does it quite as bad as the Raiders. When they lost to the Bucs, it was a decade. They took the decade off.
What do we hold accountable for the Rams, falling, other than the Super Bowl hangover?
Offensive line.
Bill Belichick.
And they're going to lose their left tackle.
Bill Belichick. Oh, yeah. Andrew Wentworth, also questionable. I feel like Bill Belichick and a couple of other defensive coordinators last season kind of, I don't want to say showed the blueprint, but showed how you slow this team down. Yep. Especially if they're not going to hold out Todd Gurley on their own. It just makes it easier to slow this team down. And more teams have replicated that this season. So through their own doing of either not playing Gurley or limiting his carries throughout the game, they've done this to themselves. Other than that, scheme has finally caught up with them because this offense, I'm not going to say it's not sustainable, but it's predictable. No matter how they deploy their wide receivers, they're practically running the same routes every single time. It doesn't matter if they're bunched on the left, bunched on the right, spread out 2x2, 3x1. They run the same routes. You can always see Cooper Kupp running 15 to 17 yards downfield and doing that in cut on every single play. And
Thanks, James.
That's Goff's best throw.
Still the offensive line.
Yeah, I'm with Neil on that. I think their offensive line fell off a cliff. And for all the people that want to say that Belichick figured out McVay, to McVay's credit, it feels like he's kind of making some adjustments on the fly. They were famous for that 3 wide receiver set. The last 4 games, they've been bringing out Tyler Higbee, their tight end, and he's just switching it up a little bit. Like I think Sean McVay is going to be a good coach. I'm not a big Goff believer, but I think once you get in a couple of offensive linemen, that team will be just as competitive as they were. They'll be right in the mix. Yeah, I like their defense. Jalen's a stud.
I have a question regarding the defense. There's a lot of talk about them getting rid of Wade Phillips in the offseason. The guy who they're talking about bringing in is a guy who Neil will be real familiar with because he used to be the defensive coordinator in Washington, John Barry. What are your thoughts on him just as like a defensive coordinator?
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't think Jay has enough time to bleep everything Neil is about to say.
Yep.
Neil's just said all he needed to say.
All right.
He was terrible. Sorry, Jay. Rob, he was terrible. Oh, my God, He was terrible.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
By the way, the weather in Los Angeles is 62 degrees and sunny, of course. The Philadelphia Eagles, where it's always, 70 and sunny? No, what's that stupid show? I don't even know. Philadelphia Eagles. They're 8-7. The New York Giants are 4-11. The Eagles 11th in the power rankings. The Giants 28th. Eagles are favored by 4.5 points in this game. They have beaten the Giants for 3 straight years. Required overtime to keep that 6-game streak alive earlier in December. Need to win for the NFC least title. I am going to take the Eagles, but we are all over the place on this one, as only Rob and Neil agree with me. The Eagles will end up in the playoffs. James has been picking against the Eagles for the last 4 weeks. Monty, you have picked the Giants. Is that James' influence?
I don't know. I just think that Giants are playing for nothing to lose. There's just so many injuries on Philadelphia's side. I don't know. I don't believe. I'm actually kind of a fan of Carson Wentz. I'm hoping that he's able to become a good quarterback, and this is kind of an injury-related season. But I don't even know who the wide receivers are that they're trying to throw to. Is Zach Ertz out this game? So I think you got Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders. And at the end of the day, I think that the Giants have nothing to lose. You're going to see, gadget plays, fake punts, go for it on 4th down, that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It's a crapshoot, but I'm going for the G-men.
Yeah, Monty, trick plays and all that gadget stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much how you beat us.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm more influenced by Jared, the Giants super fan, because he's rooting for his team to lose to get a better draft pick, so it just feels like it's going to come back and get him.
Speaking of crazy Jared, after destroying any chances at Chase Young, the Giants head into the last week looking to spoil a top 5 pick because their coaches are blanking dumb. However, the Eagles are looking for that sweet 9-7 record, and they normally beat the Giants by precisely 3 points. Look for this one to be a close one. Eagles 23, G-Men 20.
I think Zach Ertz plays. And, I mean, it's going to be a close game, but in my eyes, if I've gotten drunk and done an obstacle course on your NFL football field, I'm rooting for you to win, so I'm going Eagles.
Oh, my God. Yes, Ertz is going to play with his cracked ribs that Carson Wentz caused anyway. Adding to the grief, Arcega-Whiteside has a foot injury. Nelson Aguilar a knee. Howard still nursing the shoulder. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Brooks, Derek Barnett, Lane Johnson, and Jalen Mills also show up in the injury report.
Has Lane Johnson played the last month or so?
No, he has not. He's been out the last 6 weeks.
I think that's the problem, really. That guy's really good.
Yes, he is. And while Halapudavati Vaitai has played adequate, he's not as good as Lane Johnson.
Did Ertz get his ribs done when went through that ball high and he jumped up for it?
Yeah,
that was was a hospital pass, wasn't it? Oh, God.
Dude. I think my neighbors probably almost thought about calling the cops because of how many F-bombs I dropped when I saw that throw.
Did you just refer to me as dude?
You did.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's what you get for cursing on the podcast, Neil.
We all know what the curse is to get James call you dude.
Yeah.
For the Giants, they have Lorenzo Carter, Corey Ballentine, Rhett Harrison, Darius Slayton, and Alec Ogletree all showing up
wearing Kelly Green.
Is he on the radar for any of these opening coaching positions?
Wow.
I'm sorry, James. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy whatever. Booker Day. What did you call it? Packing Day? Packers Day?
Boxing Day. I hate you guys.
Yes.
What's Kwanzaa Day?
I don't think. I mean,
Alexa, set up a notification.
We could get into a lot of things as to what's going on with the Giants. Here's the question: is Pat Shurmur back in New York, or is he a goner?
He's back.
They should give him another shot.
I think they give him a shot.
They're going with Daniel Jones at quarterback. He's coming back.
He might have to bring on a new defensive coordinator, but they'll bring him back.
Not listed as a free agent, Eli Manning. Eli Manning retire, or is he on another team?
Are they still paying him $25 million a year?
Well, he's not going to be on the Giants. So the question is, does he retire, or is he on another team?
Professional flip cup circuit.
Yeah.
Definitely on another team. He'd probably take the Chargers job.
He'll go to the Chargers, and then Phillip Rivers will be the backup in New York.
That would be hysterical.
That would be very funny. I'd like to see Phillip Rivers make the commute from San Diego to New York every day.
He ain't doing it. A low tie is staying on the West Coast.
This game could have been a good one, except the Ravens have already announced they're resting everyone. Pittsburgh Steelers 8-7, Baltimore Ravens 13-2. Ravens are number 1 in the power rankings. Steelers are 17. Steelers are favored by 2 points. I don't know how this game didn't get flexed to 1:00. Quite honestly, how this game stayed in the 4:00 time, I have no idea.
Steelers and Texans playing for the same playoff. Titans are vying for the same playoff spot, so they're making them play at the same time.
Oh, it's ridiculous because this game.
You're welcome.
This game is horrible. But James and I are on the thought that the Steelers will win this, but somehow Neil's RG3 is going to come through and win the game here for the Ravens.
Oh, definitely. I mean, come on. The Ravens are quite literally playing a farmyard animal. So, and you know, and I'm partial to a bit of duck, so I think it'll be easy for them.
Oh, gosh. Notable players other than Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram who will not play in this game include Earl Thomas, Marshall Yanda, Brandon Williams. Mark Andrews and Marcus Peters are listed as questionable. but I don't expect either of them to suit up or play long if they do. For the Steelers, Steven Nelson, James Conner are listed as questionable. Marquise Pouncey is out, but Dupree is also questionable.
Shout out to Patrick. Do the Ravens need to cheat to win this game with the Bluetooth headsets, or can they just go on and play the Steelers straight up with their backup team and still win?
It's a great question. Great question. There will be a fine coming, by the way. I did see an update from legitimate journalistic sources, though I don't understand why we have to legitimize journalistic sources due to photographic evidence, but there is a fine.
Your team doesn't get the benefit of the doubt ever. Your team, they've sacrificed the benefit of the doubt. Your Honor, can I get a backup on this? Patriots don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. They surrendered that.
No, I'm not asking for the benefit of it. I'm talking about the Ravens. The Ravens cheated. They were caught red-handed cheating. And yet no one has talked about this situation. It took illegitimate journalistic sources to bring up the story about the Ravens cheating.
But it feels like that
the thing in his ear. It's a big nothing burger. Stop it.
Yeah, I think the Patriots get lose draft picks because of the cover-up and the lying as opposed to just the cheating. Like, if they just come clean rather than play this victim card all the time, they probably wouldn't get fined so much or lose draft picks. But I think that's the Patriots' way. I think that's Robert Kraft's job. Do your job. Robert
Meanwhile,
Kraft,
the legitimate journalists are all saying that the NFL league offices are so annoyed that they can't find a connection between Kraft Entertainment and Bill Belichick. What a surprise. There's no actual link between the two. But no.
Just because O.J. Simpson
Robert Kraft isn't a link between the two?
Just because O.J. Simpson is a free man doesn't mean he didn't kill those two people.
Wow, we just made a huge leap to the murder of people and the New England Patriots.
So back to this game, if there's
great comparison. I don't think there is anything really to discuss. We're talking about backup Ravens versus the Steelers and their duck. I still say the duck can pull out a 2-point victory here.
Yeah, you're quite
like this game is going to be fun to watch.
The Steelers and their coach of the year will pull this out somehow, even with duct tape.
Jordan Paxton be in the game.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say Jordan Paxton?
Whatever his name is, he'll be out of the league by next year. We get one more game.
Gosh,
Steelers defense is legit.
Does Big Ben make this team better than 8-8 next season?
No.
Ooh, I say yes. I think Duck Hodges is not good. I think Big Ben is at least, even on Big Ben's worst day, he's still average, right?
Monty, I think Duck's going
Randolph. What's his name? Rudolph, whatever his name is. He's okay, but he played better than Duck did last week against the Jets, which one shouldn't be a hard thing to do because, again, all their defense knows how to do is blitz.
Steelers defense, I think, is going to be good for the rest of our lifetime. I mean, they're a well-run organization, and I think Greg should, suck an egg.
Wow.
Right. A duck egg?
People still say that, Neil? Are we too old?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough. Yeah.
I'm going to look at Twitters.
Especially in this context when it's actually a duck egg.
There you go.
They definitely don't say suck eggs on Twitter. That's not
Mike Tomlin, Coach of the Year. What's next?
That is not happening, but
that's
another story.
It's a really good shout, though, James. That's an underrated coaching job.
He's done a great job there this year.
Yeah,
Phenomenal job. Has he already won it before? If he's never won it before, then it's a good story. If he's won it in the past, they'll look for somebody who's never won it.
He may have won it before. I'm not 100%
I don't think he has.
He was close, though, one year. I think.
Know. I don't think he's close this year. So,
yeah, he is.
No, because the coach on the other sideline is the coach of the year. That's all there is.
No, he's not.
Mike Tomlin was named Coach of the Year in 2008.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Thank you.
So it's Mr. Harbaugh's award.
Well, he's got the coordinator of the year. I don't know if he's Coach of the Year. But
over Mike Shanahan's kid?
Yes.
If I got one vote, it's going to Mike Tomlin. If I had my second